A $50 million American fighter jet, gone, shot down over enemy territory. Two pilots ejecting into the mountains of Iran, hunted by hundreds of soldiers on the ground. And here's the part that will blow your mind. Just days before this happened, the United States government told the world that Iran's air defenses were completely destroyed. Finished, done. So how did a country under 40 years of sanctions just knock one of America's most powerful warplanes out of the sky? That answer is not simple, and nobody in the mainstream media is actually explaining it properly. Drop a comment right now. Where are you watching from? Let's see how far this reaches. Let's get straight into it. On April 3rd, 2026, an American F-15E Strike Eagle, a fourth-generation fighter bomber flown by the United States Air Force, was shot down over southern Iran. Both crew members ejected. One was rescued within hours. The second spent nearly 48 hours hiding in a mountain crevice inside Iran, while the U.S. military launched one of the most dramatic rescue operations in modern history. President Trump called it destroyed. The Pentagon said Iran's radar networks were wiped out. Military analysts on television were confidently saying American pilots were flying in open skies with zero resistance. They were wrong, and in this video, you are going to find out exactly why they were wrong. Not just what happened, but how Iran built this capability step by step over 4 decades while the world wasn't watching. By the end of this video, you will understand something most people, including military experts, are only now starting to admit. A sanctioned, isolated country figured out how to beat American air power, and they did it on purpose. Now you might be thinking, okay, maybe it was one lucky shot, maybe Iran got fortunate on a single day. No, absolutely not. This was not luck. This was a plan that started taking shape 25 years ago, on a rainy night in a country called Serbia, when a man with an outdated Soviet missile system did something the entire world said was impossible. Let me show you what actually happened. Travel back to March 27, 1999. NATO is bombing Yugoslavia. American warplanes are flying missions every single night. And among those aircraft is something special. The F-15E Nighthawk, America's first operational stealth aircraft. A jet so advanced, so invisible to radar, that pilots flying it genuinely believed they could not be touched. Meet Colonel Zoltan Dani, Serbian air defense commander, operating a Soviet-era missile system called the SA-3 Neva, a platform so old, military experts considered it completely useless against modern jets. Dani didn't care what experts thought. He switched off his radar for most of the day. Why? Because keeping radar on continuously is like holding up a giant sign saying, "Shoot me here." American jets are equipped with sensors that detect radar emissions and fire missiles directly at the source. Dani knew this, so he kept his radar silent. Then he studied the flight patterns. Every night, NATO jets flew similar routes, similar timings, similar altitudes. Dani tracked these patterns not with radar, but with human observers and basic intelligence. Old school, effective. On that March night, he turned his radar on for just a few seconds, enough to lock on, enough to fire 2 missiles, then immediately switched it off again. The F-117, America's pride, the aircraft that was supposed to be invisible, came apart in the Serbian sky. Pilot ejected. World was stunned. Now here is the expert detail that almost nobody talks about. Dani used his SA-3 on a low-frequency radar setting. Here's why that matters. Stealth aircraft are designed with special shapes and materials to absorb and scatter high-frequency radar signals. That's what makes them invisible to most modern air defense systems. But low-frequency radar works differently. It doesn't give you a precise targeting solution, but it does reveal that something is up there, something large, something flying where it shouldn't be. Dani used that rough detection to position himself, then used his missiles at close range where precision mattered less. Iran's military watched this moment like students watching the most important lesson of their lives. They took notes, they ran analysis. They asked one question over and over again. If Serbia did this with 1960s Soviet equipment, what could Iran do with actual investment and time? That question became a national mission. Most countries would collapse under the kind of pressure Iran has faced. Decades of American sanctions, blocked from buying advanced weapons. No spare parts, no upgrades, no allies willing to sell them anything serious. What did Iran do? They built it themselves. And then something extraordinary happened in 2011. An American RQ-170 Sentinel drone, one of the most advanced surveillance drones, went down inside Iranian territory. Not shot down in a blaze of fire, it landed, almost completely intact. Iran claims they hacked into its GPS guidance system and tricked it into landing. American officials gave vague explanations. But the result was undeniable. Iran now had one of America's most advanced drones sitting in their hands, intact, ready to be studied. Iranian engineers pulled it apart. They analyzed every component, every material, every system. This is where the real acceleration began. Using knowledge gained from that drone and other programs, Iran developed a series of domestically produced air defense systems. The Bavar 373, Iran's answer to the Russian S-300, a long-range system capable of engaging targets over 200 kilometers away. Built inside Iran, under sanctions, using Iranian engineers. The Khordad-15, a medium-range system designed specifically to track and engage multiple targets simultaneously. And the third Khordad, the system that in 2019 shot down a massive American Global Hawk drone off the Iranian coast. A drone the size of a passenger jet, gone in seconds. Now here is the expert insight. The third Khordad and several other systems use passive infrared and electro-optical tracking. Traditional radar works by sending out a signal and waiting for it to bounce back. Active, detectable, jammable. Infrared tracking works completely differently. It doesn't send out any signal at all. It simply listens for heat. Aircraft engines burn fuel. Fuel burning creates massive heat signatures. An infrared sensor sits silently, detects that heat from kilometers away, locks on, and guides a missile to the source. Stealth technology makes aircraft invisible to radar. It does absolutely nothing against heat-seeking systems. America spent billions designing jets to defeat radar. Iran spent years building systems that don't use radar. This is not luck, this is strategic thinking at the highest level. American jamming pods are designed to blind radar. Against a passive system that emits zero signal, they have nothing to jam. Nothing to blind, nothing to confuse. Iran didn't try to match America's technology, they went around it. Iran didn't build one great system. They built many systems, covering different altitudes, overlapping each other. Military experts call this an integrated air defense system, or IADS. Imagine trying to sneak into a building. There's a guard at the front gate. You avoid him, but there's another guard at 200 meters. Now there's a camera at 50 meters, and a locked door at 10 meters, and a person sitting right inside. You have access to defeat every single layer. Miss one, and you're caught. Iran built exactly this for their airspace. At the outermost layer, the Bavar 373 watches for threats at extreme range, over 200 kilometers. Anything it detects gets flagged immediately. Inside that, the Khordad-15 and similar medium-range systems take over. Multiple targets, multiple engagements happening simultaneously. Closer in, Russian-supplied Tor M1 systems handle fast-moving threats at lower altitudes, proof they are very much operational and active. And scattered throughout, mobile short-range systems that can be driven anywhere on a truck, set up in minutes, and repositioned quickly. Here is the expert layer. Iran's command structure was reorganized in 2019 under the Khatam al-Anbiya Joint Air Defense Headquarters. This unified both the regular army and the IRGC air defense under one coordinated command. One network, one picture of the sky. A network built with intentional redundancy doesn't collapse. Gaps close quickly. Mobile units reposition. This is the reality in 2026. 1 month before the F-15E went down, an American F-35A Lightning II was forced to abort a mission over Iran and divert for an emergency landing. Iran's IRGC released video footage. The thermal imagery showed what appeared to be a missile engaging an aircraft using passive detection. The F-35, America's stealth crown jewel, may have been hit. If true, it means stealth didn't work. Tracked and hit, not by radar, but by heat. Then came April 3rd. The F-15E Strike Eagle took off from RAF Lakenheath, a powerful, proven aircraft. The IRGC network was watching. Targeting relied on silent, passive sensors. No conventional radar ping, no emission for American jamming systems to detect and counter. 2 missiles fired. The F-15E goes down. Both crew members eject over southwestern Iran. Safe skies were a myth. America knocked out the systems it could see. Iran was already fighting with systems that are nearly invisible to locate because they emit nothing. 1 crew member was rescued within hours. The second went missing. For 48 hours, the world's most powerful military scrambled to find him. The CIA ran a deception operation to buy time, while Iran mobilized local residents and search teams with cash rewards. Trump announced the rescue early Sunday morning. One word, we got him. But zoom out. Iran struck again during the operation. Here's the wrap-up. Iran's IRGC units operate with decentralized command authority. Individual commanders have authority to engage targets. 40 years of preparation by people who studied every American tactic and built a system specifically for this day. Iran was ready. The skies over Iran are not what Washington told you they were. If this video gave you something the news didn't, hit subscribe, stay sharp, stay informed.